welcome to this week's episode of Hack-A-Mall. I'm back with Raphael, and we have new hacks for winter 2021.
Yeah.
We're really excited. Also, you guys, how about the sign behind us?
Yeah, no, it's starting to feel official now.
Yeah. We got aprons on.
Yeah.
We got a sign. Raphael did a killer job with the Hack-A-Mall sign. So today's hack is the winter 2021 set of 3 animals.
Yeah.
How cute are they? But if you don't like the wood finish, or you want to make them match your decor, Raphael has come up with some ways to change it.
The idea is like if for any reason, like maybe like for me, for example, like in my house, all my shelving is made of a similar color sandalwood type thing.
Yeah.
So it would just disappear. So I'm like, you know what? Let's give it some change.
Let's make them pop.
Yeah.
So we have felt.
Yes.
Right? Regular craft felt from the craft store. Some paper. All this is craft store
So these
materials.
are basically going to be just different options. So let's talk about what we're actually going to be doing today.
Yeah.
So my goal was to glue a new finish on these. So like we could paint them. There's different, like if you guys watched my last one, I showed you guys on some spray painting techniques. You can easily take this outside with like a textured spray paint or a chalk finish spray paint and do all that kind of stuff. But I figured you guys are pretty crafty. You saw what I did there. You got this. So I'm going to show you another technique that it's very popular for me. I like to use it a lot, and that's just veneering. So instead of veneering with wood, which is traditionally where you'd see it, we're going to veneer with some felt, or we just brought out some different material here.
Yeah.
This is actually for t-shirts. We had some leftover from another project, so we're like, let's give this a shot. We have some burlap. We have some crumpled textured paper too. And they felt Christmassy, but also like I thought with this one, if you have like maybe you want to put this in your kids' room with little animals, it's like a nice, doesn't feel such like, home decor. It feels more like a kid's decor type thing.
So we have a ton of options here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the steps are actually, it's a 2-step process, 2.5-step process that we're going to do. So we're going to start with this spray adhesive. Now you might have seen me mention this before on our first Hack-A-Mall when we did the magnetic frame. So if you bought this and you had it laying around, I want to bring it back out. That's another goal we're trying to do, is reuse as much of the supplies. If I'm having you start collecting art supplies, I want you to start reusing it, just understand the different ways we can apply it. So we're going to use this. And then I also have 2 touch-up glues, is what they're going to be in this one. This is a clear tacky, and Super. Super is going to be a little reign supreme on this one.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, Super glue is just the best.
As long as you don't super glue yourself together.
That's like part of it. Those like crusty super glue fingers means you spent a day crafting.
No.
All right. So the first step is going to be spraying these.
Okay.
For this, I know everyone has gloves now. Gloves are a good one. This stuff, if it gets on your hand, it doesn't wash out with soap. However, acetone will take this right off. So if you are using this at home and you did get some on your finger or on a table, just spray on some, just use acetone and you'll be able to clean it right up.
So put the glove on the hand and have the little
That you're going to hold the animal,
Okay.
Okay.
So we got our gloves. Ready. Yes.
I'm going to teach you a little like art school trick on this one. When you have if you can't go outside, just spray this. A great solution. This isn't so much of like a fill the space around with toxic air, but it's more of like it settles, and wherever it settles, it will leave this like dust stickiness situation. So what I like to do is we take a big old garbage can, and then you can just hold your item while in the garbage can and spray in there, so it all settles inside of the garbage.
So I'll do that.
Yeah. And again, like try not to hold it like right in the middle, because this is right where we need the glue. So do more of one of these types of holding.
So hold on to the edges.
Yeah. So we're gonna put the garbage below the camera, but you'll know it's there.
So it's a shake.
Yeah.
Hold the edges, and we're gonna do one side first.
Yeah. We're gonna do one side at a time, just so it's easier to handle.
How did I do?
You did good. Yeah, it's 1 or 2 sprays. If you're seeing
bubbles,
the bubbles are good here. I'll show you on camera B. Okay, so like this is okay. What you don't want is it dripping off. If it's dripping off, you've applied too much. And you can, we're tacky pretty much everywhere. So we're good to go here.
All right, so now I'm going to press against my felt.
Yes. So just place it on the felt and apply pressure. I'm gonna take my gloves off. Make sure also that you don't put it like dead center in the middle of the square, so you can use it for like both sides. If you put it right in the middle, we're gonna cut it out, and it's gonna be that whole sheet is basically done.
I was about to mention that. Yeah, so I put it on the corner.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if you want to save yourself the cut, you can try to like line the bottom of it up with the bottom of the thing. But again, like you're talking about minutes of time, not even minutes, seconds
so
of time.
now it's on there.
It's glued. And I feel like I say this every time a blade comes out, make sure it's sharp.
Yeah.
Like, I know it sounds just like redundant repetitiveness, but sharp blades is like night and day in the quality and the professionalism of your final piece.
And so now I'm going to use a cutting board so I don't mess up my surface.
So just to show them all. So here, this is a specific cutting board. It's not like a cooking cutting board. What these will do that is really nice is the blade, there's actually like a core in the middle that's a little harder than the edges, and the blade will sink in a little bit. Usually that's like whatever, but on felt that makes a huge difference because it has a squish to it. It's like a paddingness. The blade sinking through to the cutting board will give you a cleaner cut.
Okay.
Yeah. And one last tip. I know I've been like nonstop
talking.
No,
it's okay. We gotta do it right.
So when you have a cut like this, the best way to approach it is you don't want to start at the tip of the tail because this is where you have the least amount of adhesive. So if you start pulling away from that, it's gonna come off. So it's better to think about your cut to flow towards the tips. So you always want your cuts flowing towards tips, towards the points.
That's a good tip. All right, so I've lined it up here. I'm going to start at the bottom like you mentioned. And I usually press really hard.
You can press hard. Felt is tricky to cut. I'm not going to lie. Of all the materials we've listed here, I would say felt is going to be the hardest one to cut.
Okay.
So I'm giving you guys a challenging one with this.
So I am checking. It's cutting.
It is cutting. It's doing great. And if you have someone else to help you keeping it stretched.
And would you say this hack is pretty permanent?
Yeah. So it is permanent if you're okay, if you like never want in this case our squirrel to look the way it was. You can always rip it off, sand it, and then you'll have a little wooden animal without the pattern. So in that sense, like the wood itself will be fine. We did do one where I ripped off the felt because I was curious just to see what would happen and how good the hold was. And it's pretty good. Like the felt will be destroyed, so you can't use this as a stenciling for cutting felt stencils. And it will, your bunny will stay fuzzy probably forever if you rip it off. So you'd have to sand off the adhesive and the fuzzies and get back to that wood layer.
All right, this little piece is a little bit challenging. It is doing
the corners are tricky,
Yeah. It is going to be super cute though. I love the idea of them being fuzzy and a solid color. You could really get them to match to your home decor, like to your Christmas.
Yeah.
In my house, they would be pink. Yeah, let us know.
In my house, they'd be green.
They'll be green?
They'd be green, yeah.
Let us know in the comments what colors you guys would use, what you guys are thinking about this. So I think we
got most of it. And we'll go back and clean it up.
So this part was a little bit challenging. Seems like I can pull it almost off already.
And now, though this hack is permanent, let's say you did mess up, you can rip it off, take off as much of the fuzzy as you can, spray it again and do it again. Like that you can do.
So now I
think you got a pretty, got a pretty accurate cut there.
There is some.
There's a couple fuzzies and scissors, like just go with little like manicuring scissors and you can trim out the excess.
Okay, yeah, that works. With the scissors, I can definitely clean that out.
So,
and then the ear part, you're saying?
So yeah, so here's where again I would go with scissors because we're gonna do the edging also. So whatever's left over will get covered by the edging.
And then to cut this little's ears?
We'll go with scissors for that. Yeah. So let's just do one side for now. Theoretically, we would do the other side, but instead I'm gonna show you how to do the top, the edging.
Okay.
We measured it. It's 3/4 of an inch, but instead of getting all crazy with measuring, we take a ruler. Honestly, I know this sounds like ridiculous, but I literally just laid it up, put the ruler right up against it, did the same thing on both sides.
That works.
And that works just the same. Just check a couple times to make sure both sides it's lined up. And if it's lined up on point A and point B, it's lined up in the middle, so we're good there.
Perfect.
Also, when I cut this, give it like an extra like hair of material there. It's better to have a little extra than not enough.
Okay.
And the same thing we just did before. Just hold it, we're gonna put some pressure there.
Straight line.
Straight line. Should cut pretty easy. It's good to pinch the material here.
Yeah, Raphael gave me the hard part.
Yeah. And if you want to practice cutting with felt a little bit beforehand, this is a great material because it's like 50 cents a sheet.
Okay.
Not even like 30 cents a sheet.
You can
so
mess it up.
You can mess it up a couple times before.
Alright, so now I'm going to glove up again.
Now, for the edging though, we don't want to spray it anymore.
No.
No more spraying. Because then we'll cover, this is where it gets fun and where I thought it'd be interesting to show the technique. If we spray it again, it'll get sticky on the felting, so we don't want that. So that's why we got some of the tacky glue and the super glue to do this part.
Okay, great.
So the way I like to start it off is with some super glue on what's going to be like your hardest crease pretty much to cut into. So I think between the ears is probably the hardest spot. So I'll just put a little super glue in there. Spread it out. Very little, you don't need a lot. And then just push it in there. And you can use the blade.
Yeah.
Without the blade tucked in, of course, but just to get that edge nice and sharp.
And you sort of just centered it because you gave yourself
Yeah,
a
I
little
centered
bit
it
of,
with a little bit of extra room. And now we can just go with the tacky glue.
And you're going to put tacky glue all around. Okay, great.
Exactly. So I wouldn't just go and tacky glue the whole thing. Let's see like more or less where this, you'll probably have to do this in 2 pieces.
Okay.
So we'll see where it ends up. Kind of
almost.
there, almost there. So like I'll probably stop putting glue at like this point here, and then we'll keep gluing if we need to. And I went with the tacky because it's good for fabric, and it dries clear, which is always nice.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the finger. Make sure you get it.
Yeah, you could probably also use a brush if
A
you
brush,
want to
yeah.
get the glue in the crevices. Okay.
Yeah, but you know, it's just, that's what the aprons are for. And then just go back through and again, for the tight corners, just go in with the blade. So after you apply the tacky glue doesn't dry right away. So that's there to hold like long term. To get it to affix to the spots, that's where we're gonna go with our super glue. So again, we're gonna just push the fabric in, show our crevice, and the tiniest drop of glue will do it. So when your glue gets gummed up like this, you see it's kind of got that accumulation, and it messed me up in the prior shot that's been cut from this.
You can cut it.
Yeah, you can just push it against the table and it'll pop off.
Look at you with your tricks.
So we de-gummed this up.
Yes.
Alright, and we've actually, in between takes, we kind of finished doing the wrap, but the basic idea is you're going to apply your tacky glue it up. As you're doing it, on the edging, you're going to be lightly putting a drop of super glue.
Yeah.
And pushing it in, and then we're using our blade in this case with the knife retracted to push it into the gaps to make sure it's adhered. When you're done with it, you can look for see here in the tail, it's peeling up. That's where I'm going to hit it again with just the tiniest drop of super glue, and then just push it there quickly. You can use the edge of the table here just to get a nice line. Once we've done all the way around, again, we got the seam ended up in the middle of the tail. You can try to measure it out so the seams end up in a crack or something like that. Not a big deal. Then for like a final wrap, it doesn't have to be a brush, it could be a pencil, it could be anything, but take the edge of your brush and kind of just work the corners a little bit like that. And that'll kind of fluff it up and blend it in a bit so you can see from here to here already the difference.
Okay.
So we're just running it with the brush and softening up the edges. This is a technique that people use when they veneer wood a lot. And you have 2 meeting seams. If you're ever working with wood and you make a corner and you're have that tiniest little gap and you can't fill it in, go with something like this and just rub it. And also it will pop up areas that you see need a little bit more glue. So we'll drop and just go right back over it like that.
Nice.
And then you end up with your little felted animal. Now obviously we didn't do the back here, but
yeah, you can just imagine it. And then for the back, you're gonna put glue all over.
I would have done the front back first.
That's right.
And then the sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we would have had that.
And we have, so this is our first one, is our fuzzy little felted one.
I think he's super cute. Okay, then we have our fox and our bear.
So we'll speed through these two because the felt is by far the hardest material to do. I wanted to start off and I'm letting you guys know, if you're gonna do this hack, be patient. It takes a little bit of time. It takes a little getting used to. And again, let's say you mess this up, you can rip it off, scrape it, sand it, and then do it again. It's just you'll lose the pattern that originally came on the piece. So unlike some of the previous hacks we've done, this one is not reversible to original.
And so it's always going to be the same thing.
Same
Our gloves.
process. Put on your
spray.
glove, you spray, and
Okay,
you press.
down. Okay.
She's holding it like this and doing a spray like this while wearing gloves. If you're not wearing gloves and you do get it in your hand again, acetone will clean it off for spray adhesive. Super glue, not so much.
All right, so. And so
It's
this is going to be the same process.
Same exact process.
All right, so let's do it here.
Except much easier because paper is going to be much, much easier to cut.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't always
so
have to.
I have my bear without the details yet, but my edges are pretty good.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay. And then I'll do these little details now.
And again, take your time. And I'll show you on the legs on this one.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to get the blade in here. What you can do is go with your finger, push on this side, and you'll end up creating a silhouette, and then you can go from the positive side
That's a good
and
tip.
just
Yeah.
do that really quickly
Nice.
and take it out. So you see, like, really quick to cut. And whenever you have like little sticking out, just push that in again, just like that.
And then for the edges, it's the same thing as the
Same
felt.
process as
Just
before.
measure, cut,
Yeah.
and then we'll glue.
And here, rolling it with the brush will really work very well because the paper will roll over.
Okay, I'm trying your technique. This was a great tip about the little legs.
Yeah,
Love that. Okay, back to length. Okay.
I love doing this kind of stuff when I have, if you have a little table or something,
Yeah.
choose tabletops, you can do this.
The bear looks awesome like this.
Yeah, and you can just do the front too, you don't have to do both sides.
Yeah. But we would just do the same technique
Yeah.
with the strip. And so far, I mean, I really love changing them this much. The color
Yeah, it's
really
a totally
pops,
different.
the texture. Okay. All right.
And I think
so
the shapes and the silhouettes here is what make it.
yeah, they look super festive and cute. Let us know what you think about this hack. Comment below. Make sure to like this video. And if you don't follow our YouTube, make sure you subscribe so
Yeah.
you get notifications.
Lots of great content
Yeah,
on
we
there,
have
yeah.
so much coming up.
And more hacks.
More hacks.
They're only getting more
Yeah.
intricate.
So make sure you check that out. Like this video. Let us know what you did and share it in our Deco Hacks Facebook group.
Yeah, I want to
So-
see what you guys are doing.
And if you're not a subscriber and you want this cute little trio, make sure to subscribe to Decocrated and get that winter box.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Bye.